acts, getting back into the senior list after serving out his time. As I speak, the Hawks come out onto the ground. They hold top spot on the ladder at the moment, and there is Dermot Brereton. He's been a real workhorse at training, coming out with Robert Dipier-Domenico, who's been down on form, but he is determined also to be back in business. Dipier-Domenico, number 9. I speak of players being down on form. Well, having said that, there are a number who have shown great form from both of these sides in recent weeks.
Melbourne's dynamic Gary Lyon might have been under a cloud before last week's clash with Collingwood, but he turned out to be one of the driving forces behind the Demons' win. A superb second term from Lyon helped Melbourne to establish an unbeatable advantage. Former South Australian Stephen Stretch was adjudged by most people as the best man on the ground last Saturday. The dashing defender collected 28 possessions and set up numerous opportunities for his teammates up forward. Sean White was moved from defence to attack last week, and he too rose to the big occasion. It was due more to ability than Irish luck that White kicked 3 goals to be a valuable contributor. It was no fault of Gary Buckenara that the Hawks went down to the Swans in Sydney last week. Buckenara collected 31 possessions in the middle of the ground, and as everyone found out last year, the pressure of a big game against Melbourne doesn't faze him. Jason Dunster was a late withdrawal last week, but the champion Spearhead's record this season speaks for itself. He's booted 88 goals already and will be hoping for a bag today to edge closer to the magical century. At the other end, Gary Ayres will be looking to show the form which has made him one of football's most admired defenders. His sure handling and high marking have delighted Hawks fans throughout their glory days of the 1980s.
Yes, here we are back at VFL Park. The scene is set, both sides out on the ground. And although Melbourne was successful in round 7 by 21 points, Peter, I believe that this game this afternoon could be considerably closer.
Well, it will be, and we just saw 2 players there, John Platten, and I'm pretty sure that picking up here for Melbourne will be Dean Sharon.
Here's the toss with Dixie.
It is tails, and he'll kick to the left of screen, the large scoreboard end of VFL Park.
Right, thank you, Dixie. Michael Tuck and Hawthorn winning the toss.
Well, just going back to that, I'm pretty sure Sharon will pick up John Platten, Bernie.
Well, that has been the case in every occasion they've played recently. John Platten has been down on form. He ended up on the wing last week against Murphy, and also Dipier-Domenico has been down. So Hawthorn will be expecting a big lift from these type of players. They're star players over the last couple of seasons, and if all their players can fire on the one day, they are a powerful combination.
Well, we witnessed the last game between these two at the MCG earlier in the year, which Melbourne won, and during the last quarter of that game, Hawthorn looked certain winners, and Melbourne were able to outrun them in that last 10 minutes.
They're a very good combination, Melbourne. They've got a lot of determination. They play on spirit. John Northey has really built that up into this Melbourne side. They're a young side, and they never know when to lay down.
Pete, the ground has been diagnosed as slippery, and if we look back through the record books, particularly this season, Melbourne has struggled in wintry conditions.
Yes, they've had a very, very poor year as regards the wet. They've been beaten a couple of times, well, 3 or 4 times, in fact. There's Gary Ayres, tremendous player. Number 7, you'll see him out there today. Number 7, a champion backman. Probably lacks a yard, but under these conditions and in big games, Gary Ayres rarely lets them down.
Let's get the selections now. Bernie Quinlan, first up. Who are you picking this afternoon?
I think Melbourne can do it. They beat Hawthorn earlier in the season, and Hawthorn still with Mew out of the side at centre-half back. They were looking a little bit suspect in that back line. And Melbourne playing on a lot of determination, a lot of spirit. I think they can do it out here at VFL Park.
And Peter McKenna, I and Bernie know that you are a big rap for the Hawks.
Well, there is John Northey on the phone, but I think he'll be the losing coach today. I think Hawthorn on the rebound rarely lose, and Dermot Brereton back in. The last time they met, he went off in the first minute of the game against Melbourne last time. That's the reason why I think they'll win. Those 2 players there, Brereton centre-half forward and Dunstall at full forward.
Don't forget, though, that if the conditions do get wet, they will struggle also on the forward line. So Hawthorn also rely on the high-marking players.
Well, it's going to be a great evener up.
Loveridge and Hall starting on interchange for Hawthorn, Sandy.
Which is interesting. Tony Hall starting on the bench. Umpires Cameron and Harris in charge of today's proceedings. This is umpire Harris. And here we go. The first quarter. Melbourne and Hawthorn here at VFL Park. A game that could possibly decide. Top spot on the ladder. O'Dwyer charging at the football, trying to get it out of the middle. Through comes Brereton with strength. And
they've reversed it.
He's lost the football, so Brereton back after a 6-week suspension has made his intentions absolutely clear. He is back and ready to go to work. Kicks down towards the half-forward line. It's fisted down to Platten. Platten quiet last week towards Dunstall.
Oh, will he make a difference?
Well, he adds a lot of life to this Hawthorn side, Dermot Brereton. And a very vigorous player. And here it is again. The mark to Dunstall. An easy chest mark in the end. No worries about that, but the play was set up with Dunstall, with Brereton in the centre with his strong play. So the free kick was reversed, and now with Dunstall with a shot at goal.
25 metres out, almost directly in front. Jason Dunstall shoots, and Jason Dunstall goals. First goal on the board, going to the Hawks.
Yes, well, that's Jason Dunstall's 89th goal for the season. He's been the formful forward throughout the year and has been very consistent throughout the season. But those two Hawthorn players back in the side, Mark to Dunstall, very good leading player, out in front of Hughes. And he doesn't miss too many, Jason Dunstall, although he just squeezed that one through.
Of course, Hawthorn going into the game still without Chris Mew, and they also lost Russell Green. Now we'll keep an eye on Brereton. He's having a bit of, there are two of the tough men of football, Brereton and Grinter. Look at them. Grinter on the far right of screen. Now Brereton joins him.
Steve O'Dwyer. It's out to Healy. Now it's David Williams scouting the packs onto the left foot. He goes. Melbourne into the breeze during this quarter. Ricky Jackson. Now it's Grinter backing him up. Onto the left foot he goes, but there's only one man there. It's Russell Morris starting. Now it's a free kick up the field though in the meantime, so it will come back to Melbourne to Brian Wilson. Oh, a shocking looking kick. Goes straight to Buckenara. Buckenara to Morris. And Russell Morris to Paul Abbott, who's lining up at centre half back. Of course, Chris Mew still out of the side. Williams has dropped to centre. Kicked off the ground by Campbell. Towards half forward it goes. Further afield, another kick. But now it's a chance for the evergreen Michael Tuck. Over to Morris, who's making his presence felt early. Russell Morris, a long kick. He's looking now for Collins. Good use of the body. Over the back is Whitman, the two lookalikes combining. Whitman bringing it back to half forward. Brereton and Dunstall. The ball hits the deck. In goes Brereton. Oh, caught high. And the champion centre-half forward's got a free kick 30 metres out from goal, directly in front.
Yes, he's made his presence felt already, Dermot Brereton. He really livens that forward line up. There's a free kick against Earl Sporting for the high tackle. And Dermot Brereton not very far out, be kicking from about 30 metres.
Well, he's like a young colt out there. It's 6 weeks out through suspension, Dermot Brereton, and he crashed into that centre pack at the start, and he's going in very, very hard, a very physical forward. That mop of blonde hair would be a great start if he can put this one through. There's the kick. It's a goal.
And the two champions.
For some car makers, to win Australia's Car of the Year award would be an end in itself. When Nissan Skyline won, it was just the beginning. Now Nissan backs Skyline with a 2-year warranty. And in the Nissan 600,000k Enduro, Skyline went all the way to prove that it really is the winning Aussie 6.
Very nice.
Very. Nissan, building the right cars for Australia.
It's possibly the wind advantage, 2 goals from the centre. It's pushed wide again. Socket off the ground. We might see plenty of that this afternoon in these somewhat slippery conditions. Overrun by Wilson. An opportunity now for Langford to get it clear to Schwab. Onto the left foot he goes hurriedly. Back towards centre wing. Morris is dropping back, but a little too far underneath the football. But the free kick's going back to Curran, who was forced out illegally, and Healy will have to give it back. And Peter Curran will again send Hawthorn into attack. He's got Brereton lurking on the 50-metre line. That's the direction the ball is headed. Brereton edged out, however, on this occasion. It was a 2-on-1 situation at the mark taken by Spalding. Spalding plays on, swings it wide, going past Sharon, but he does have support, and that's in the form of David Williams. Not yet up to centre wing. Williams kicks wide towards line. With him is Langford. Langford traps the ball, was pushed, and will be free kick. His kick coming in towards the centre. Morris is there. Longer now to half forward. Brereton again, however, caught out of position. Oh, it's going to work for him. He's at the back. Has it now. Chip short to Dunstall. Great play.
Oh, class.
Yes, it's class written all over those two. And they work so well together. They know where to lead. Jason Dunstall leads to the right place at the right time.
30 metres out from goal. A pretty tight angle. Dunstall shoots at goal. Is this going to be his second for the afternoon? It is. Well, he might have missed last week, Bernie, but he's certainly got his kicking boot on early today.
Yeah, he's showing no effects of that illness that he had last week. Of course, he suffered a slight knee injury in the interstate match against Western Australia also. But he appears to be in top form this afternoon. As the kick spills out to Brereton. Maybe a little bit of luck there involved, but it didn't matter on the end because Dunstall with that perfectly timed lead and a great pass there from Dermot Brereton.
3 goals straight the Hawks. What a tremendous start. Greg Deere against Steve O'Dwyer. Kicked off the ground down towards the half-forward line. Gary Ayres playing in front of his opponent Greg Healy. Gets the kick in and it's to half-forward. The mark dropped by Whitman. He charges in after it again. Is that a free kick? It is, said the umpire. Not a lot in that one, but it's been paid to Whitman. The Hawks looking very sharp, but we must remember this is how they started off last week. That's a free kick to Dunstall. Now Hughes is in a lot of trouble at fullback because Dunstall's quick, he's strong, and Danny Hughes is not quick off the mark, Bernie.
And they're moving the ball so quickly down in that forward line. They're winning it out of the centre square every time, Hawthorn. There's a free kick. All over Dunstall was Danny Hughes.
Well, what a return to the side. They certainly missed him against the Swans last week. Chance for his third goal from directly in front, Jason Dunstall. And he's put it through. Yes.
When you want a helper in the kitchen, get a Breville.
I've got my Breville.
When you want real frothy coffee, get a Breville.
I've got my Breville.
When you want somebody and some bounce, get a Breville.
I've got my Breville.
When you want to make someone happy, get a Breville.
We've got a Breville.
When you feel you'd like a toasted snack, get a Breville.
If it's not Breville, it's not the best.
Points the difference. Still early in the first quarter and Hawthorn charging clear. Dunstall, 3 goals to his credit from the centre. O'Dwyer down towards line. Can the Demons reply now? They've got a steady. Up towards Steins, who marks just outside the 50-metre line. Plays on. Hooks it to Jackson at half forward. He's going to be caught. Tries to get clear. The hand pass comes out. The ball comes to ground. Now the Hawthorn defence pounce upon it. It's Buckenara who gets a quick kick back towards that centre-half back line, and the mark is taken by Deere. Playing on, in towards the centre, over the top of Curran, but he recovers beautifully. Shepherding by Whitman, sees him clear. Now down towards Dunstall and Hughes. Hughes at the back with a big fist, and he's the first to recover. Chasing is Collins. Collins front spot, and he pushes the ball over the line.
Is it too late to change my prediction, Sandy?
Too late, yes.
There's Tony Hall and Richard Loveridge. That was the poor kick by Curran. He really should have put it out in front of Dunstall.
Well, he went too wide, didn't he, Peter?
And too high as the ball is in that forward pocket, but more importantly, it's on the Hawthorn forward zone. Oh, Greg Deere, a clever tap down. Hughes came through. Here's a chance for Dermot Brereton. He's caught high again. Yes, is he? He ducked the head, but the umpire said it was too high again. But he puts his body in, Bernie.
Tremendously enthusiastic, Dermot Brereton. And with his strength on that forward line, here it is again. He's down on the ground.
Oh, yes.
There's no doubt about the free kick against Tony Campbell.
Oh, what a start this by the Hawks. And the 2 champion forwards in everything. Dunstall's kicked 3. Brereton coming in for number 2 from directly in front. He kicks. Oh, he's hooked it a bit. But it's another kick maybe, I think. If he's missed, it'll be another kick, I think. Yes, and 50-metre penalty against one of the Melbourne players. I thought Peter Cameron picked probably against Grinter.
Yeah, he spoke to Grinter and Hughes. They must have been too close to the man on the mark when Brereton had his first kick.
And he certainly missed that first kick, Brereton. So he won't miss this one. He's directly in front. 5th goaler.
Well, that's a great start for Hawthorn. And even at this early stage, it's going to be difficult for Melbourne to get back in the game. But Brereton, he's really missed playing the last 6 weeks. And they have really made a difference to the Hawthorn side. These 2 champion Hawthorn forwards. Here's a free kick against Campbell. And Brereton was just coming up. He hadn't ducked his head. He had been down picking up the ball. And Campbell came in and applied the high tackle.
An incredible start by the Hawks. 5 goals straight.
They look mean, Sandy.
They look very mean. As we said earlier, if you catch Hawthorn on the rebound, it can be very, very dangerous. And could that be the case today? O'Dwyer is back in the centre now. Can he charge up the Demons? Let's see what happens. It's 5 goals the difference, 30 points. O'Dwyer wins the tap out, but they're not taking it away. Morris is tackled high. They're playing in front. They're getting the free kicks. And the advantage is certainly showing on the scoreboard.
Oh, yes, there's 8 free kicks to Hawthorn and 1 free kick to Melbourne at this stage, and that's because Hawthorn are in for the ball in the first instance.
Morris towards a pretty congested centre-half forward region. O'Dwyer was pushed. And the ironical cheers go up from the Melbourne supporters as he gets his team's second free kick. Wide to Grinter. Grinter up towards the wing, looking towards Yates. Nipping in front was Wilson. Trying to centre the football. A poor kick taken by Curran, however. On to Collins. Hawthorn forward again. Up towards centre-half forward. Fisted away, however. Morrissey couldn't take it initially. The hand pass, clever hand pass too by Whitman towards Brereton in the square. He's under pressure. Goes to ground, but this time the umpire's whistle does not sound for a free kick. And the ball is pushed over the line.
Well, they had loose men, Bernie, everywhere, Hawthorn.
Almost another certain goal to Hawthorn if the handball had been spot on, or it could have bounced up nicely for Brereton. He was running into an open goal.
And John Northey shaking his head in the coach's box in disbelief. Morrissey's kick partly smothered, pushed in towards the pocket. O'Dwyer with a gentle little soccer tactic goes towards Alan Johnson, and he sees it over the line. Alan Joyce of Hawthorn, well, there's no need for him to have a look of panic on his face at the moment. A sensational start by the Hawks. O'Dwyer again. Deer also. Into the air. Deer. A tap back. No one able to get it clear. Healy is at the bottom for Melbourne. And he must be wondering what has hit his team.
Well, the Melbourne forwards haven't seen the ball as the bounce will take place right in front of the Hawthorn goal. Deer, it's down to Tuck. He might kick one. A quick kick is smothered though off the boot. In fact, I think he might have kicked it into the boot of a Melbourne player, and the ball is now out of bounds as Buckenara hands the ball back to the boundary umpire. It's about 40 metres around from the behind post. Still in Hawthorn's forward zone, of course. There's Curran over the back looking for Tuck. Now it's the brilliant Buckenara to Schwab. Schwab over his head to Brereton, who's in absolutely everything. This is Scott McGuinness. He nearly gets caught. Hooks it back towards half forward. Though, is that a free kick? No, said the umpire. Grabbed by Spalding. Spalding towards centre wing. Morris is there and Langford. Langford cleverly to Platten. Now, where's Dunstall? Out he comes now. Well, teammate got in the way. There's Dunstall cleverly though. Morrissey into an open goal and he's missed a sitter.
First blemish of the day.
Oh, that was a sitter too. Beautiful build up there again by Hawthorn. Moving the ball with precision into that forward line. And they've got so many players running to where the ball is falling. They're just beating Melbourne on every occasion.
Hughes to bring the ball back into play. Going with a long kick to the outer side. Getting underneath, but too far underneath was Williams. Free kicker will come back. Got a bit of a nudge. So the Demons trying desperately to push this ball out of defence. And their defence has copped a hammering in this opening quarter. He's on the defensive 50-metre line. Melbourne shell shot.
Oh.
Coming over the top, Langford. Loose players again everywhere. Here's an opportunity for Morris running through the centre. Puts it out towards half forward. Brereton's at the back in front. They've got players everywhere, and Peter Curran takes the mark. He'll kick from just inside 50 metres.
And good play by Brereton too, because he could have taken that mark and he deliberately pulled out of the contest.
Curran on a slight angle. The distance should not be a problem. Is this going to be number 6 for Hawthorn? It most certainly is.
Hungry Jack is making bacon. You know my heart is aching. No better taste than bacon in this whole wide world. Can't get enough of that bacon. I want a Whopper with bacon. Yeah, this man loves the bacon. Give me that bacon, girl.
Try your Whopper with bacon.
This is the Hungry Jack's way. They got a new taste treat. They got a Whopper with bacon.
0 at the moment. A brilliant start this by the Hawks as Russell Morris, a quick kick now towards the half-forward line. Up they go again. The loose ball has favoured Hawthorn nearly all day. Here's Grinter, who's got the big job on Brereton. Grinter, the centre wing, Dipier Domenico, punched away from him. Over the back is Lyon. Here's a chance because Greg Healy's got it at half-forward. A hand pass to Wilson. Wilson into the open goal. He ran too far. He's caught. That should have been holding the ball. Umpire, he let it go. Schwab. Back to Langford. Langford, he nearly loses it. Now he's got it again. O'Dwyer has it thrown away from him. Brian Wilson caught again. Good tackling by the Hawks. In they go hard after the ball. Paul Abbott there. Kicked away by Ayres out of defence. A chance for, this looks like Sharon charging in after it. Let's see, yes it is Sharon with a hand pass. Further afield to Newport. Oh, they're in trouble here, Melbourne. Steins, Yates. Yates sets it up for the forward. Sean White in front. Gowers now takes front position. Oh, brilliant defensive play to Peter Schwab. And here they come again. Morris back to Schwab. Beautiful team play by Hawthorn. A short pass. And that's Andrew Collins taking the mark on centre wing. Where's Dunstall? No, the hand pass comes back to Dipier Domenico. Now he's looking for Dunstall. Out he comes and hits him right on the chest.
Gee, that's great football, isn't it?
Superb, Sandy. The running out of defence of this Hawthorn side is just a pleasure to watch.
Well, he's kicked 3, Jason Dunstall. That was sensational play. And he's a very accurate kick. He's only 40 metres out. He kicks. He's hooked this one, though, and has put it through for a behind. But what champagne football that was. 6-2 plays nothing.
Just Melbourne on that occasion. I think Wilson ran about 25 metres when he was running into that forward line.
Grinter brings the ball back into play. Steins is the target. Doesn't try and mark, try to just tap it over the back, but it's picked up by Dipier Domenico across to Morrissey. Forward they go again in towards the pocket. The chip away at goal is very wide and out of bounds on the full. Well, Jason Dunstall began the day with 88 goals. He's now moved to 91. And if he continued in this form, you would have to ask the question, can he do it today? Oh. It would be quite sensational if he did. But we've still got plenty of football left as Collins has the ball 50 metres out, almost directly in front. Hawthorn have done just about 100% of the attacking so far. He gets underneath the drop punt, pushing it deep into the square. It comes over the back and is touched through for one behind. 6 goals, 3, 39 points, and that is the margin. Melbourne yet to score as Hughes again. Short to Jackson. Having his first touch towards centre wing, the mark taken by Williams. David Williams on the defensive side of centre wing and not sure where to go. Eventually goes as long as he can. Healy gave a little bit of a nudge. A clever tap on. Now here's an opportunity for Stretch as he gets clear and he goes long. Down towards O'Dwyer. With him is Deere. The two big fellas push it down. Yates in front of the pack. Can't take the football cleanly. Sock it off the ground. Could this be the first score? Kicked by Newport. It is.
With Diners Club Double Card, you get 2 cards. One for business and one for pleasure.
So now you don't have to get your business mixed up with your pleasure.
Put it on Diners.
6-3 to a goal, and maybe that will lift the Melbourne side because they've been absolutely shell-shocked. Paul Abbott now doing the ruck work, interchanging with Greg Deere. It's kicked off the ground. The Demons coming forward again. Greg Healy, well, nearly gets unloaded. Being caught was Lyon, grabbed by McGuinness. McGuinness to half-back, and the mark has been taken by Russell Morris, who'll be delighted to be back in the team. Off he goes. No one chasing him as he brings it towards Brereton. Oh, nearly a good mark. Just punched away at the split second. Grabbed by Stretch. Stretch towards centre wing. Here's Brian Wilson. Oh, he gets his head nearly knocked off. So it'll be a free kick back with Brian Wilson, or will he relay it up the field?
I see Sean White has been moved from full forward. He's down on the half-back line.
Well, he hardly saw the ball down at full forward, so but they're worried about that Hawthorn forward line. John Northey certainly is. Graham Yates, and they could certainly do with another goal here now. There's Gowers at the back. He's a very good defensive player. to McGuinness. Scott McGuinness bringing it towards Curran. A little bit high for that player, but Brereton waits over the back. Now, he nearly gets unloaded. He taps it on to Collins, which was good play. Now it's Platten going in after it. Was that a free kick? It was. Holding the man to John Platten.
Quiet week last week, Platten, but certainly in business early today. Young South Australian, a veteran now of 66 VFL matches, kicks towards the 50-metre line. Brereton pushed out of it. But there's been another infringement. It's gone the way of Melbourne, to be taken by Steins. Gets it quickly across to Sean White. Even wider towards Williams. Can't take the mark. Dippy Domenico tries hard, but gets beaten. Now an opportunity for Lovett. Ball goes for a bounce. May come unstuck. It is going to Buckenara, twisting his way clear. Dippy Domenico is loose. Takes the mark. Can he get round? Sean White, he can. Looking for Brereton, past Johnson at wing. Grinter couldn't take it. The advantage being played to Melbourne. Back to Johnson again. His kick up towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Lovett.
Brett Lovett to David Williams, and Melbourne look good when they get that ball moving. Or bad hand pass to Wilson because he was covered, but back it comes to Williams. Oh, Ayres nearly ran through him. They charge in open. The umpire said he did run through him and got him too high in the head. So it'll be a free kick to David Williams, about 60 metres out from goal. He's going to set it up with a high one. O'Dwyer in front. Greg Deere and Abbott over the top of him. The big punch away. It comes towards Whitman. He's unloaded. In they go after it. Michael Tuck's got it quickly onto the left boot. That was clever play by Tuck. Wide, he was looking for Curran. Stephen Stretch will beat him to it. Good tackle by Curran. Strong tackle. He really is a great tackler. Now it's Michael Tuck off the ground. To Collins. Back to Tuck. Was it a throw? The umpire said it was a throw against Collins. He didn't think so. What do you think, Bernie?
I thought it was.
It looked
good decision.
Good, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a great play if it had gone off.
So Steins to Healy. Greg Healy at centre wing. Towards line in the middle. This man was devastating last week. Range the handball, then goes longer up towards half forward. O'Dwyer again is the target. The big fella flies in the middle. Almost held it long enough too. Langford couldn't take it. Ayres pulled off the football before he can get a kick. Jackson and Platten waiting for the ball to come out. It doesn't. Abbott. Now Ayres again. Does it well. Out wide towards Whitman and Lovett. Two great youngsters. One by the young Hawk. Towards centre half forward. The kick is a little too far for Morrissey, and it's taken by Sean White.
His kick out wide will find Stephen Stretch, former South Australian, who's been an outstanding player for Melbourne in his couple of years here. Sharon to Greg Healy. It's at half forward. Ayres not letting him run away with it. He gets in the handbars. Newport will be tackled. Now that could be in the back. No, it's holding the ball, said the umpire. 6 or 1/2 dozen the other there. It really could have gone either way, as we see Abbott towards centre wing. In front was Lyon. Morrissey into his back. Play on, said the umpire. Here's Ricky Jackson. He is a very quick player and displayed in there. Kick towards half forward, but it'll be marked on. Oh, that's 50 metres, I think.
Well, it has to be.
Yes, against Tony Campbell, he'll be brought right down to the centre wing for an indiscretion after Morris had marked.
So Russell Morris has struggled to find form, but certainly started off in very positive fashion today. He's been brought right down to the middle and goes long towards half forward. Brereton down towards Whitman. A hurried kick towards Dunstall. Can he use the body? Tries to trap it. Can't do so. Comes off his boot. He's got a chase. It's socket wide. And a chance for Lovett. Shepherding sees him clear. His hand pass. Oh, it's not a good one. It put Jackson under pressure again. Tuck is there for Hawthorn. Gets it out quickly to Whitman. Past Buckenara. Collins is there also. Socket off the ground. Now Abbott. The big fella's away. Centres it. Cleverly. And there appear to be loose Hawthorn players absolutely everywhere. Schwab gives it across to Morris. Morris towards Brereton at full forward. Can't take the mark. Hughes gets a hurried kick under pressure. They're doing everything under pressure at the moment, Melbourne. Steins and Lovett can't do anything with it. Collins is still battling for the football. Gets it back to Whitman. A high kick still in that half-forward zone. No one able to take it cleanly. Morrissey to Buckenara. Tremendous pressure. Collins, a shot at goal in towards Brereton. No mark taken. Spooned out.
I think
The
he
umpire
paid
is going to give it to him.
Well, I think he may be a little bit lucky to have been paid that mark. The umpire probably blew the whistle in anticipation. Sometimes does happen, but I don't believe that Dermot Brereton held that one long enough.
So Brereton is now going for his third goal for the quarter.
There it was, definitely no mark. Having a look at that in replay. He didn't hold that long enough, especially where he was going for a chest mark.
Brereton now for goal number 3. He makes no mistake. 3 goals to Dermot Brereton, 3 goals to Jason Dunstall, and Hawthorn shoots 7-3-45 to Melbourne, 1 straight goal.
He appears as though he hurt himself a little bit in that contest, Dermot Brereton, but he has really made his presence felt in this first quarter here at the VFL Park. Here's the replay of that. And I don't know whether the umpire, I think he paid it for the mark. I don't think he paid it for a free kick there, but whatever it was, I'm sure it wasn't a mark anyway. I think the umpire, as I said, blew it in anticipation.
Well, don't tell me that good key forwards out of a side don't make a difference to a side, because look at the difference with those two in today. 7-3 to a goal. Peter Schwab trying to shuffle the ball out. It's still in that centre of the ground. And we've got just under 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. And the Hawks well on top. They're winning just about everywhere at the moment, particularly on that forward line. There's a quick kick by Steins out of the centre. Here's a chance for Graham Yates if it bounced. Oh, he slips over. Didn't get a good bounce. Now it's Gary Lyon. Hand pass back to Healy. Healy a quick kick towards half forward. Gowers in front. Now it's Scott McGuinness. Back to Gowers. Playing at full back. Gowers brings it towards the centre wing. There's 3-on-1 here, and I think the one's going to win out in the form of Peter Curran. He does. Back to Tuck. Now, Michael Tuck onto the left foot. Well, it was meant for Collins, but just a bit slow moving, and Alan Johnson takes the mark.
Johnson on centre wing. Going long, but no one there for Melbourne, and Peter Schwab takes the mark. Schwab over the top of line to Abbott. Morris calls for it over the top. Again, he goes, putting the ball out in front of him. Dippy Domenico will come to meet the football. Claims it now, swings round, going onto the left foot. He goes with a little chip towards the half-forward line. The bouncing ball eludes them all, except for Stretch, who's almost claimed, just gets his kick. Platten gets a shocking bounce. Here's a chance now for Wilson to get it clear. Now an opportunity for Sharon to go wide. And surely this time the Demons will go deep into O'Dwyer country. Over the top, it's fisted out of his hands. At the back is Ayres. A sweeping handball meant for Platten. He finds his target. Platten is clear on half-back. Long over the head of Morris. Dippy Domenico is at the back as well. Can't get the football clear. It comes to Morris. McGuinness. Tremendous backing up by Hawthorn. There's always one or two to assist the one going in to get the football. Morrissey long in towards full forward. Dunstall from behind. Couldn't take the mark. Who's going to be first to it? Buckenara has it fisted away from him by Hughes. Pushed wide to Tuck. Picks it up now. Goes onto the right foot. Just a short little chip. A clever kick too. And Hawthorn will now shoot for goal number 8 for the quarter, and that young man is delighted, and he'll be even happier still if Collins can put this through.
Yeah, that was great play by Michael Tuck. Could have gone for the long kick, but just chipped it to where Collins was. And now Collins only kicking from about 30-35 metres.
Going for his first goal. He puts it straight through the middle.
So the experience of Michael Tuck showing out there on that occasion. He's lined up quite surprisingly on the wing, playing on Stephen Stretch. And he's followed him everywhere today, so he's probably playing a little bit of a tagging role on the wing and really showed his experience there. Here it is. Spills out to Michael Tuck. And look at this clever kick from Michael Tuck. Spotted it perfectly to Andrew Collins.
Well, this is the easiest day the Hawthorn backmen have had in a long time. Right at this moment. 8-3 to a goal. Paul Abbott in there. An underrated ruckman too. Buckenara loses it to Newport. Now off the ground by Greg Healy. Grinter races after it. As we said earlier, big job for Grinter playing on Brereton. All good play by Russell Morris. Allows Collins to give it to Langford. Langford's got plenty of time to steady. I think Sean White might be on Brereton now. In fact, they've moved They've moved Grinter, and Sean White has gone. When he went to the back line, he went straight on to Dermot Brereton. There he is, Sean. He's got a huge job because they're being beaten around the packs. Hawthorn really controlling this game. The fist away, comes straight to Newport off the side of the boot. Grinter, is that a mark? No, yes it is. Now Brereton was off.
And a very lucky one again. I don't believe he held that one long enough.
So Grinter on half back. It's his 50th VFL game today, and it's certainly not the way he would have wanted to have started. Steins at centre wing. Wobbling a punt kick, a poor kick towards Tuck. He couldn't take it. Ayres with strength bursts his way through the pack. Kicks a high ball towards the half-forward line. Spalding couldn't take the mark. Collins couldn't take the football. But it doesn't matter because it's quarter time after a sensational start by Hawthorn. Alan Joyce would be delighted with that performance. Hawthorn at quarter time leading 8 goals 3, 51. Melbourne are 1 straight goal, 6 points.
For some car makers, to win Australia's Car of the Year award would be an end in itself. When Nissan Skyline won, it was just the beginning. Now Nissan backs Skyline with a 2-year warranty. And in the Nissan 600,000k Enduro, Skyline went all the way to prove that it really is the winning Aussie 6.
Very nice.
Very. Nissan, building the right cars for Australia.
Cameracraft magazine sure know cameras, so which home video did they choose as Camera of the Year?
Sanyo.
The Sanyo Vision 8 makes every other home video camera seem obsolete. Its 1500th of a second electronic shutter and 3 playback heads gives you crystal clear slow motion, perfect stills, and there's digital autofocus. It's lightweight and plays back through any TV. The Sanyo Vision 8 camcorder, the Camera of the Year.
Sanyo, for people in the know. Sanyo.
Investment planning is full of traps, and once your money is caught in a bad investment, it's hard to get it back. That's why you need Whittaker Hurst McNaught, truly independent professional investment planners. They have the checks and safeguards, performance monitoring, product research and support services to ensure the right investment plan. For personal or corporate investment planning, consult Whittaker Hurst McNaught and avoid investment traps.
Sitting on the dock with the sun and the sea. Yes, it's my day and I'm feeling so free. You and me. Fisherman's Wharf and me.
Fisherman's Wharf, the Spit Gold Coast.
Fisherman's Wharf and me.
It's the Vicks in the drops that gives your throat a lift.
After 4,000 years, can the Japanese crane still coexist with man?
Any newly born chick is a small miracle.
In the shadow of Fujisan, tonight, 6:30. Then...
Hello, my name's Sonia Humphrey.
He wasn't trying to help me. He was testing the drone.
Please don't assault the camera or the camera.
Hang about, you admitted to me.
Rather than hide in the bushes, it might be a better idea to come and speak to us.
Brisbane people have their say on The Soapbox. Probe. Can you afford not to watch? Tonight on 7.
It's quarter time here at VFL Park, and what a quarter for Hawthorn. Bouncing back after last week's shocking loss to Sydney. At quarter time, Hawthorn 8-3, 51, leading Melbourne 1 straight goal.
Hawthorn's champion centre-half forward Dermot Brereton has been afforded one of football's ultimate compliments, to be compared with a footballing legend of days gone by. Recruited from Frankston Rovers, Brereton's high marking, long kicking and overall brilliance have stamped him as arguably the best in his position since the great Royce Hart of Richmond. The kid who made his senior debut in 1982 is one of that rare breed who can lift a team all by himself.
And Bernie Quinlan, hasn't he made a difference today?
Well, he has, Sandy. He's made a huge difference to that Hawthorn forward line, and especially him and Dunstall. They've both kicked 3 goals apiece. And with those 2 key forward players back in this Hawthorn side, they look so much better.
OK, let's have a check now on quarter-time scores in the other VFL matches being played today. Look at North Melbourne, 6-6-42, leading Collingwood by 30 points. St Kilda and Sydney having a ding-dong struggle. Sydney leading by 4 points. Geelong at home to Footscray. Geelong 5-6, Footscray 3-2, and nothing in the Carlton-Richmond game, with Carlton leading by just 4 points. Let's go down to the boundary line. Here's Dixie Marshall.
Well, Sandy, you didn't need to hear what the coaches were saying. You could see it. The hand signals told the story. John Northey was waving his around, pointing fingers, shaking fists. Well, as for Alan Joyce, his were being used just to pat a few backs.
Right, thank you, Dixie. Here we go, second quarter now at VFL Park. The big question is, can Melbourne get back into this game? It's not a 7-goal breeze, but it is probably 2 or 3. From the centre bounce, it's O'Dwyer who wins it. Morris's kick, however, is partly smothered back towards O'Dwyer, who's quick to soccer it off the ground. And once again, that raises the question of the kicking in danger rule, Bernie.
Well, they'll have to do something about that. There's no doubt about that. We saw Murphy from Sydney kicked in the head the other week, and they really should bring that rule back in.
John Platten was on the receiving end of that. O'Dwyer, Healy taps it over the top. Chance for Lyon. Was looking to get it back to Healy again, but a little too far. Back-up support from Newport. Pushed as he got his kick. It's effective, however, down towards the half-forward line. Tuck out to Platten, weaving his way through at half-back. He centres it towards Morris. Chasing is O'Dwyer. Coming to meet him is Yates. Morris, too good, however. The handball over the top. Taken by Yates. Melbourne desperate for a score. His kick towards centre half forward. Platten has to go up and do the spoiling work. It's left with Wilson. Can go towards Sharon, and he takes the mark inside 50 and only on a pretty slight angle. So Dean Sharon looking to kick Melbourne's second goal. If they can get a couple early in this quarter, who knows? They could come back. But it's a big ask. Sharon floating a drop punt across the face of goal. Big Jim Steins pulls it down. 5 metres out, but tucked on the boundary line almost. There you can see just the view between the 2 goalposts that Steins has. Let's see what he can do. The big fella is a right footer. He snaps at goal. Pretty good looking kick. And it's the second one for the Demons.
And a badly needed goal there to the Demons. Big Jimmy Steins took the mark. And I thought that he may have gone back and done himself a disservice going back on the angle that he did. I saw Rabbit also take an extra step when he was standing on the mark. But here's the kick from Sharon. Deep into the forward line. And there's the mark to Big Jim Steins. A good mark on a very tight angle. Opens it up a little bit for himself and puts it through.
Well, that was an excellent goal and good thinking by Steins. Way he ran out and hooked it back in. There's O'Dwyer's getting plenty of the tap outs. A couple of quick goals here. He ducked the head then, Brian Wilson. He's playing for a free kick, which he does now and again. There's Schwab trying to crash his way through to Langford, to Brereton. Brereton should mark this. Oh, good courage as he ducked back. He's got the help of Chris Whitman now. Good play, Whitman. Up to Dunstall in front. He's got it. Now, let's see what he does. Back it comes to Collins. Now Dunstall again. Thrown off the ball. He didn't have it, umpire. Oh, they've let him go. Collins to Curran. Into the open goal. And a well-deserved goal.
That's wonderful.
Now from Breville comes Fingertips, an amazing new do-it-yourself massager that combines the benefits of modern physiotherapy and advanced technology with the ancient art of hand massage to relieve tension or ease muscular aches and strains. Breville Fingertips Massager, just like having a trained masseur in the family. From Breville, the better ideas people.
Well, a 3-pronged attack down there. Jason Dunstall with 3, Brereton 3 and Peter Curran 2. As we see Peter Schwab coming out of the centre of the game. Oh, here's some courage shown. That was bad luck to David Williams because he really did show some courage. Whitman, a long kick to half. Or Dunstall. Oh, caught one across the head. No, said the umpire. Well, gee, they're giving him some rough treatment. Here's Brian Wilson. A quick hand pass across, found Alan Johnson towards the centre of the ground. Oh, Langford, too good, too quick. Onto the left foot he goes, and a long kick right down to Curran again. He couldn't take the mark. Johnson waits over the back and brings it towards centre wing. Brian Wilson has got it. Oh, nearly caught. Curran tried to pick him up. Oh, losing it was Healy. It didn't go hard enough for that one to Morrissey, to Buckenara. Oh, now I think the notebook maybe. No.
That was against Grinter, Peter, too.
Oh. Grinter did 6 weeks earlier in the year. Let's have a look at this.
Oh, very high, very high.
Well, we saw Andrew Buse go out for 2 weeks for that one like that against the Eagles a couple of weeks ago, as Buckenara is at the 50-metre line. He's all right, though. There's the short passes on Dunstall. Oh, that is brilliant forward play.
It was brilliant forward play, but very poor defence by Melbourne. They didn't fill up the gaps there, and they left a space there for Dunstall to lead into. There's the mark to Dunstall, a good pass from Buckenara, but as I said, very poor defence by Melbourne.
Well, he's kicked 3, and a very accurate kick, kicking into the breeze. But certainly the distance is no problem. There's the kick by Jason Dunstall. No doubt about it, that's his 4th.
So anything Melbourne can do, Hawthorn can answer, and answer with a lot more strength and desperation than Melbourne have got so far. They've been by far the more fierce side out on the ground. They've tackled better. There's the lead from Dunstall. A good strong chest mark. And look at that kicking style for goal from Jason Dunstall. He kicks his 4th, 3 in the first quarter, and that's his 1st in the second.
And 92nd for the season.
And he was clipped across the head just before that too. He could have received a free kick.
Centre bounce again. Dwyer wins it but finishes up on his back. Morris picks it up for Hawthorn. Goes down towards the half-forward line. Morrissey could have been pushed as light rain starts to fall over VFL Park once again. Here's an opportunity for Williams. Hooks it high. It's going to be an advantage down the ground. He was pushed, and it will go back to Stephen Newport. Newport wastes no time. A high kick, certainly not going directly. Melbourne at the moment, and a fine mark taken by Curran. Well, we saw him show enormous courage last week against Sydney, taking a couple of beauties, and he's carrying that on today. Dipier Domenico in front of the pack, stood his ground, however. Stretch called out by Williams, loses it. Now Jackson has been very quiet. Back to Stretch. A high kick going down towards the 50-metre line. Coming to meet it is Steins. Doesn't get a favourable bounce, and the ball is taken over the line under pressure from Abbott. So a throw-in to take place. Melbourne in attack and desperately wanting goals. Throw in again. Steins uses the body, then clips it out the back. It finishes up with Lyon, who hooks it long. Now, what's the bounce going to do? It's a cruel one for Melbourne, going across the face of goal and registering one behind. 2 goals, 1 to 10-3. Melbourne are kicking with the breeze in this term, but even so, Hawthorn have still outscored them.
Gary Ayres, one of that reliable Hawthorn defence. A good mark to Scott McGuinness. And really, they are playing beautiful football. And this man, has he played well today? Russell Morris, who's been out of form this year, a long time in the reserves and back in. He'll stay in if he keeps playing like this. Brereton, I don't know whether he's 100% fit. A bit of an altercation behind the play there. He's not moving as well as he did early in the game, Bernie. It'll be interesting to keep our eyes on him. This is Lyon. He's halfway between centre wing as the light rain continues to fall, and half-forward flank it is. There's Steins into the back of his opponent, but coming across and taking the mark is Paul Abbott. Abbott from half-back flank. Brings it towards centre wing. Wilson in perfect position. Couldn't take the mark, and the loose ball comes to Peter Swab. This is danger for Melbourne. As Swab comes up the centre of the ground, a hand pass. As he looks further afield for Chris Whitman. Whitman to Dipier Domenico. Onto the left foot he goes. Dunstall out in front. He's got it. He hand passes back towards the goals. Grinto tries to kick it off the ground. In they go after it. A quick kick out of the pack will find O'Dwyer. Oh, well done by Deere as he taps it out to Curran. Curran onto the left foot. Now, Brereton and White. Brereton ducks back, and the ball bounces over the line and out of bounds.
Danny Hughes has been moved down to Melbourne's forward line, and Sean White is now playing on Jason Dunstall.
Throw in the right forward pocket for Hawthorn. O'Dwyer and Deere. Coming over the top was Morrissey. Couldn't take it. Waiting down Lovett across to Williams. Wider again to Spalding. Running out of half back. He's got a loose player in Stretch. uses him on the outer side of the ground. Stretch going short. Poor kick, however. And this Hawthorn defence, Langford it is, who comes steaming out towards the half-forward line. Bounces off the chest of Brereton. He recovers well on 50 metres. Can he get away from Grinter? He's got to backpedal and lose a little bit of ground, but he can do it. Langford, an uncharacteristic mistake. Looking for Deere. They've still got so much support. It's Whitman who picks it up. Kicks down towards half-forward, but Sean White nips in to take the mark.
White, I think that's a good move. That by John Northey, because he's got the pace to go with Dunstall, whereas Danny Hughes certainly didn't. Towards half forward is the ball. Brereton really not moving all that well now. There's a quick kick by Whitman towards the goals, or was it Collins? In fact, the two lookalikes.
Yeah, it's Andrew Collins.
It was Andrew Collins. In fact, they number 10 and number 40, they really do look alike, those two players. Tony Campbell bringing it in from full back. At the back is Greg Deere, goes for the punch. A very disciplined side, Hawthorn. Dipier Domenico, the long driving kick towards the pocket. Nearly a mark to Campbell, but it just comes off his hands and over the line beside that point post.
Melbourne fans still a little bewildered. Hawthorn fans quite happy with proceedings at the moment. Deere over the top, trying to get it out the back. Jackson soccers off the ground towards Sharon, under plenty of pressure. Curran. Loose players again everywhere, and Schwab, who's inside 50 metres, has marked and will have a shot at goal.
Yes, they're really a bit shell-shocked, I think, at the moment, Melbourne. Everything they're doing at the moment, the hand passes, they're kicking, they're doing it under pressure, and they look as if they're about to be tackled.
Peter Schwab with a long drop punt. The breeze doesn't seem to be affecting that at all, because he has posted it.
This is the list of luxury features you'll get with most small cars. Pretty small. This is the list of luxury features you'll get with the Nissan Pulsar Vector. You're comfortable? Number 1. Air conditioning. Number 2.
(11-4 to 2-1), and as Bernie said, they are playing top football, Hawthorn. That was Lovett with a quick hand pass. Out it comes now to David Williams. He goes towards half-forward. Now the bounce favours Jackson. Jackson tries to centre it to Steins. Hughes is there also. He ended up running into him and losing it. Schwab gets it to Gowers. Russell Morris is there. Oh dear, some players went in very, very hard there. The umpires found a free kick. It'll go Melbourne's way. It'll be Stephen Newport on centre wing.
Newport to send the Demons forward. Steins gives him a lead. It's ignored, however. He drifts it up towards the 50-metre line. Ball fisted clear, but straight down to Dipier Domenico. Good defensive work by Hawthorn. Dipier Domenico's kick towards centre wing, and a fine mark taken by Morrissey. Goes inside to Tuck. Michael Tuck. Tremendous experience behind him. Floats a drop punt up towards the half-forward line. Collins was the flyer. Buckenara waiting down. They go straight over the top of him, but he dodges and weaves and twists. Tried to get the handball back towards the running Whitman, but Lovett is there to halt that. No one able to pick it up cleanly. You can see the pressure that Melbourne is under as Sean White falls as he tries to get it clear. This lets Hawthorn in again. Whitman, the diving White towards the boundary line in enormous desperation. And another throw-in to take place.
They're now making pressure for themselves, I think, Melbourne, because a couple of times they could have picked that up and gone clear with a long kick, but as I said, they really look as if they're expecting to be tackled.
Well, they're 57 points down, and we've still got 14 minutes left in the second quarter. That will give you some idea of the strife that the Demons are in. But there's always time to get out. Platten to McGuinness. Long. Down towards the half-forward line once again. O'Dwyer shepherded out of it. At the bottom is Collins. Whitman it was. Hooks it over his body. Brereton use of the body. Illegal, said umpire Cameron.
Yeah, it's a good decision too by umpire Cameron. Dermott doesn't agree with it, but he definitely pushed Rod Grinter in the back.
Grinter's kick. Torpedo punt. Over the head of Lovett. He's first to recover.
Oh.
Dipier Domenico hit him.
This could be the book.
I'd say so.
The umpire is coming over to him. Di Domenico is not moving. He has been reported. Umpire Cameron explaining to Di Domenico why he's been reported.
Is that any worse than Grinter's earlier? I mean, it's a similar thing, isn't it?
It was. Have a look at the replay. You can see Di Domenico on the corner of the picture there. He had his arm raised. Lovett was doing the tackling. And the arm was definitely raised. So it was worthy of a report.
Williams sending Melbourne into attack down towards their half-forward line, but that's as far as it gets because Andrew Gowers takes a fine mark. Back towards the centre again. Or Spalding flew high, couldn't take it. Di Domenico in over the top of Newport, and Di Domenico gets the football out only as far as Healy. Now support through Morrissey, but he threw it. Not an effective handball. And so the free kick goes back to Captain Healy.
Healy towards half forward. Morris in front. He's had a good game. Well, there's the pace of Williams to get away from Ayres, but Ayres gets back. Now, was that too high? It was, said the umpire. So Williams, a short kick. That's good play. Finds Lovett. Chance now for Melbourne is Sharon. Oh, he wasn't sure what to do with it, but now he finds Healy. Healy with the long driving kick. Hit the post, said the goal umpire, so things not going the Demons' way.
No, they're really struggling to get that ball past the half-forward line. So they've only kicked 2 goals too, and we're halfway through the second quarter.
Well, there's Gary Ayres on screen. Look at the build. Oh. You can see why Rovers in man-to-man contests find it very difficult against Ayres. Here's Gowers. Becoming a very good defensive player, Gowers. Spalding in front or over the back. It's all Hawthorn. Curran to Morris. Having an excellent game. Russell Morris. Good to see. Morris from 50 metres. Kicks long. Sean White. Over the back is Dunstall. He's got a loose man. If he can hook it back, he does. But the Melbourne players are able to come and check, and it's Newport taking the mark.
Oh, dangerous hand pass, but they may get out of it. Cleverly to stretch. On to Johnson. Melbourne clear. Over the centre, over the head of Lovett. Platten is waiting at the back, traps it beautifully. That's the Platten of old. On to Buckenara. In towards half-forward. Grinter is there and takes a fine mark. So Rod Grinter, again halting another Hawthorn attack. As he gets it across to Johnson, who goes to Lovett. Lovett at centre wing. On to Steins. To half forward. Waiting down is the big fella Abbott. Traps it well. Back towards McGuinness. He can't pick it up. Probably a little slippery now after that light rain that's been falling, but he does well to get it to Platten. Platten is clear. He gets decked, and he didn't appreciate that behind the play. He did not appreciate it one bit. The football is going on, much to the delight of Buckenara. To half forward. Grinter over the top, can't take the mark. Johnson waits down. Grinter fists it clear. Whitman trying to do the shepherding work. The ball comes clear to Steins. With him is Curran, however. Oh, they pounce upon it. There's still plenty of desperation. Morrissey can't take it cleanly. Must be very slippery now as the mark is taken on the half-back line by David Williams. A few sore and sorry players out there at the moment. Gowers in from the side. At the back, Morris having a fine game today. His kick is a poor one. Drops short to Lovett, and he sends Melbourne forward.
Peter Schwab leads out in front of his opponent. Beautifully trapped by Schwab. As he brings it long, he's looking for Langford. Langford couldn't take the mark, but he's got too much pace as he breaks away and brings it up to Morrissey. They've got the Brereton to do the shepherding as Morrissey picks it up. Hooks it back towards full forward. Dunstall. Yes! He's marked. 25 metres out. Directly in front, too good, too strong.
Yes, he's all class, Jason Dunstall. Good strong shepherd there from Dermot Brereton coming into the forward line. Here it is again. And Campbell really went high. Had a charge at Dermot, but there's a class of Jason Dunstall. Great judgment to take the chest mark.
Dunstall's kick 4, and from directly in front has popped through his 5th.
Yes.
If you need steel, then you need us. Ashley Moore, deals in steel.
Whenever you need barbed wire, make sure it's Waratah. Why? Because Waratah barbed wire is one of the most reliable, maintenance-free fencing there is. Used with Waratah star posts and Waratah flexible hinge joint fencing, you can't beat it. BHP guarantee it.
Check the prices and the deals at Ashley Moore. The big company that deals in steel.
14 plays 76. Steins up against Abbott. Pushed down towards Grinter. Solidly met. Dipier Domenico stands his ground, then pushes it wide. The kick is by Lovett. First hurt will be Platten. Chasing is Sharon. Platten gets his kick and gains 30 metres. Hall could have been leg. Gets his first touch since coming onto the ground to Buckenara. Over the head of Brereton, who recovers the quicker. Gets it wide. Johnson couldn't take it. It was meant for Whitman. It's still with that player now. To Curran. Back towards Dipier Domenico. Oh, there's so many of them there. Hall's just come on the ground and he's going to kick a goal.
Oh, this is just a magnificent display from Hawthorn. It's really premiership football that they've produced in this first part of this game. 20 minutes into the second quarter and they've completely dominated Melbourne. Here's the replay with a tap on from Curran. There's so many Hawthorn players in support of each other. Dipier Domenico with a handball to Hall, who's just came onto the ground. And Hall snaps truly with the left foot. So a perfect display of football here from Hawthorn.
Not a bad player to bring on. Steve O'Dwyer off the ground for Melbourne. There he is. And as Bernie said, this is champagne football as the hand pass comes long, but they're too strong down there everywhere. Ayres and Langford. Morris has played a great game. Here's Platten. Brereton and Curran. Curran! Oh, another great mark to Curran. A hand pass was meant for Dipier Domenico. He loses it. In with Steins. Curran again, is he in form? And after ankle injuries and being out of the side for a great period of the year, back into that side with a vengeance. It's starting to take his marks, Peter Curran. Abbott. Hughes is now in defence. They're really shuffling their players round. Off the ground was Tuck. Now Tony Hall, the fresh man on the ground, has got it. Gets in a quick hand pass, but he was under enormous pressure. Newport was there. Now it's a chance for Tuck to dive on top of Stephen Stretches. The good Melbourne players that have played well all year, hardly been sighted. Lyon and Stretch, Bernie.
Well, it's the pressure being applied by Hawthorn that's kept these players out of the game. Wilson, another one. Haven't seen him all afternoon.
Well, there's Abbott doing the ruck work against Steins. Brereton dives on top of the ball, hooks it out. Good play to Collins. Collins is loose now and he's going for Dunstall. Up he goes. Oh, was it in the back? Yes, and too high, in fact, against Sean White on Dunstall. And Dunstall will take this kick from approximately 35 metres. He's already kicked 5, but he's on a very acute angle.
And excellent lead again from Jason Dunstall. He's put himself in a fairly difficult angle. But Sean White did his best to spoil him, and the umpire saw it to be a free kick.
Well, this will be Dunstall's 6th. If he can kick it, let's have a good look at it. It's floating across. Oh, bad luck. It's hit the post.
Hawthorn 13-5, 83. Melbourne at 2 goals, 2-14. They've kicked only 1 goal, 2 with the aid of the breeze in this second quarter. Lovett off the ground towards centre wing. Lyon taken out of it by Langford, who recovers well. Kicks in towards half forward and Abbott takes the mark. He's got Morris loose if he wants him. He wants him. And he marks on the 50-metre line. So Russell Morris back in form with a vengeance today. And look at that kick. Just off target, 1 behind.
13 kicks and 4 handballs, and it's not even half time.
As I said, back in form with a vengeance. Now Danny Hughes from full-back. Straight down the middle as the rain starts to get a little heavier. Oh, the flyer was Buckenara. He couldn't take it. Lovell on the ground. Couldn't love it this time. A sweeping hand pass. Collins rides the bump and spins out of trouble. Back to Platten, who dodges clear from 50. Shoots with a long drop punt in towards full forward. No mark taken. Oh, free kick to Curran. No free kick. Oh. And now Hawthorn has lost the football. What an extraordinary decision, plus 50 metres.
Oh, that's unbelievable because a free kick should have been paid to Peter Curran.
on the wrong side of the pack, I think, the umpire then, Bernie.
Well, he may have been. That could be the only explanation.
Let's have a look at it again.
Now, Curran. Whoa. Danny Hughes all over the top of him.
Well, the ball's at centre wing now. Lovell. Lost it. Clever tap out to Dipier Domenico. Platten starting to pick up touches. This will do his confidence the world of good. He floats a punt in towards full forward. No mark taken by Brereton. Johnson overruns it. It's socket back. And a chance for Lovett again to clear for Melbourne. He goes with a high drop punt up towards centre wing. And he's as solid as a rock, Gary Ayres. It's no wonder he's known as Conan the Barbarian down at the Hawthorn Football Club, Peter.
That's right. And a great player he is. Great finals player. There's Platten getting it to Tony Hall. Hall towards half forward. Collins is working hard, but he's beaten this time by Johnson. But Langford's like a rock of Gibraltar down there, and McGuinness is giving him good backup support. Scott McGuinness, look at the backing up. Beautiful play. Oh, bad hand pass, though, that. That was by Langford. I think it slipped out of his hands. Now it's Ricky Jackson, who's hardly been sighted, but he's got the loose one here. He's looking for Lyon, and Lyon will mark at the 50-metre line. Now, he's got Spalding loose if he can get it to him quickly. Just a little bit slow. Now he kicks into the man on the mark, so wasn't good play that by the Demons, but it's not their day at the moment as Langford dives on top of it and the umpire will bounce it. It's about 40 metres out from the Melbourne goal, and I think that might be an unhappy Demon supporter there. 2-2 to 13-6, 11 goals for the difference in a terrific display of football this by the Hawks. Williams ducks the head. Gowers to Abbott. Platten really coming into the game. To Ayres. They've got loose men everywhere. Morris having a sensational day. He's kicking long. He's looking for Dipier Domenico, who's already been reported, and he found him now. If he can get it to Curran, he's trying to do it. He kicks it high round the corner. Curran just took his eye off the ball then as Hughes came towards him. Not for any other reason than he wanted to get himself in a good position. And it's a free kick to Hawthorn for a trip going to Tony Hall on half-forward flank.
Coming off the interchange bench this quarter, Hall. His first kick when he came on resulted in a goal. Brereton. Oh, just pushed to the ground. Hall again overruns it. With him as Newport. Buckenara could have ducked his head. But the umpire said either way.
He's very clever, though, the way he does that.
The tackle was too high, and he's got what he was after, a free kick. Towards half-forward, over the head of Brereton. A chance for Alan Johnson to clear for Melbourne. It's a long kick. Out of half-back. Langford from behind. Look at that defensive spoil. Platten waiting down in front for the ball to come down, but it's Chiron who will clear. His hand pass, a little proppy. He's got to try and follow up his own work. Gets it across to Stretch, who's under tremendous pressure. His kick goes wide. It's taken by Ayres, who sends a 20-metre hand pass to Platten. Shepherding will see him clear. And between centre and half-forward, he goes long towards Dunstall and Curran. Curran!
Oh, is he in form, Bernie?
Oh, courage there too from Peter Curran. He puts his body in, keeps his eyes on the ball. Look at this again, backing into the pack. And he's done it well, Peter Curran. A tremendously courageous mark in Sydney last week, running with the flight of the ball. And he's continued on with the good form here today.
One goal in the first quarter, one so far in the second. Is this going to be number 3? The drop punt is on its way. He has made no mistake.
Feeling hungry?
Seafood, kebabs.
Or pasta?
Or Asian.
Take away or sitting down. Queen Street, the best choice in town.
Or sandwiches.
A fruit salad.
Or a casserole.
Or a hot dog. Or a hamburger.
Queen Street Eat in the Myer Centre gives you the best choice in town for breakfast, lunch or dinner.
Take away or sitting down. Queen Street Eat, the best choice in town.
Tackle there also by Michael Tuck in the centre of the ground, allowed that loose ball to come to Ayres. Brian Wilson's hardly been sighted, nor is Stein, so they've got a lot of players down. Here's Scott McGuinness looking for Tuck. It's kicked off the ground by Stretch. He's been quiet too. On the ground for Melbourne, you saw him there, as Anthony Lovell. Smothered off the boot there of Morris. Towards half-forward, Lyon fisted away. They badly want goals, Melbourne. There's Ayres being grabbed when he didn't have the ball. So they're making a lot of mistakes, Melbourne. It's all due to the great play of the Hawks. There's the kick out to McGuinness. Oh, Dipier Domenico is loose if McGuinness can get it to him. He does. He's on centre wing now. There's already been reporters the rain is tumbling down here at VFL Park. A long kick by Di Domenico, a wobbly one towards half-footer. Hall cleverly tapped it out. Now it's a chance for Whitman. They've got loose men everywhere. Swap. Back it comes to Deere. Deere will probably set it up. Where's Dunstall? There he is. He's in the pocket. Oh, good play. Good play. White reckons he was pushed out. I don't know about that. I think that was bad judgment by Sean White. Great play by Deere and Dunstall.
Yes, I'm sure that's right, Peter. Dunstall just held his position well. Sean White probably thought he was doing the right thing, attacking the ball. But Dunstall in the better position.
Well, he's kicked 5, going for goal number 6, and he's threaded it through.
So a sensational performance here from Jason Dunstall. 3 goals in the first quarter, and now 3 goals in the second quarter. 6 goals before half-time on a day when it is not easy for forwards to kick goals.
And only another 6 required in the second half, Bernie, to crack the ton.
Well, the way Hawthorn are playing, there's a kick. He kicks so well for goal. The way Hawthorn are playing, they're giving him a lot of opportunities up forward. And, of course, with his brilliant leading, he could be even a big chance to kick that 100.
He's not going to get the chance to kick another one before half-time. There's only seconds remaining that Hawthorn will go into attack down towards their half-forward line. But there it is. Hawthorn have had a sensational first half, 15-6, 96, leading Melbourne 2-2, 14. And the Hawks running from the ground to the cheers of their supporters. It has been an outstanding performance. Melbourne, I think, still a little shell-shocked, Peter.
I think it was an absolutely brilliant display of football that by Hawthorn in wet conditions and slippery conditions. There's Dunstall, who's kicked 6. He is a champion full forward. Curran has been brilliant, Bernie, and really they haven't had a weak link.
No, it's very hard to find a good player in the Melbourne side, but Hawthorn playing champagne football here in this first half. Dermott looks a little bit proppy as he runs off, but I think he set this victory up for them if they do win, and they should win this game. Because with his fierceness at that opening bounce and in that first quarter, he really had a few of those Melbourne defenders having a look around.
It's half-time. Hawthorn a commanding lead. 15-6, 96 to Melbourne 2-2, 14.